We are now at all-time highs. There's your chicken dinner winner. Nvidia new all-time highs. Where's Ramin? Clip it, Ramin. She ain't here. But there it is right now. It's Nvidia, brand new all-time highs for NVDA. So, I mean, who thought this was going to happen?
So, as we just saw, there's really only one story dominating the markets right now, and that's artificial intelligence. I mean, names like Nvidia are practically household words now, driving this absolute frenzy in the stock market that has totally rewritten the rules for what big tech even means. But here's a thought. While every single eyeball is glued to AI, what if the next tech revolution is already starting to bubble up right under our noses? All right, let's get into it. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start at the peak of the current AI wave, and then we're going to use a blueprint from the past to try and understand a potential future. We'll break down what quantum computing even is in simple terms. Then we'll look at how the money is starting to follow the code, try to figure out how to value this thing, and finally, get real about the risks involved in what might be the next great technological gamble. You know, to really understand where we might be heading, we absolutely have to start with where we are right now. And that means just acknowledging that we are living through this unprecedented boom. It's a massive technological shift built entirely on the infrastructure of artificial intelligence. And if you want to put a number on it, here you go. This is roughly the market cap of just one company, NVIDIA. It is the undisputed king of the AI boom, the company making the essential hardware, the picks and shovels that power everything. It's just a staggering figure, and it really represents what a mature, dominant tech sector looks like at its absolute peak. And that really brings us to the central question we're tackling here. While the whole world is captivated by the AI story, what if the seeds of the next big wave are already being planted, quietly, in a sector that, let's be honest, a lot of people still think is just science fiction? So how in the world do you spot the next big thing before it actually is the big thing? Well, to figure that out, sometimes you need to look back. The story of how a tech giant gets made, it often follows a pattern. And if we deconstruct NVIDIA's journey, we might just find a blueprint for what the next cycle could look like. It's so easy to forget that NVIDIA wasn't always this titan. For years, it was a niche company. They made graphics cards for gamers. Just 10 years ago, it was worth about $22 billion, and AI was still mostly stuck in university labs. It was only when AI broke out of the lab and went mainstream that the company providing the essential tools experienced this just massive, explosive growth. And this right here, this is the crucial point. The most useful comparison isn't between today's multi-trillion-dollar NVIDIA and today's quantum companies. No, it's between 2014 NVIDIA and these quantum companies. A decade ago, NVIDIA's market cap was $22 billion. Today, IonQ, which is a leading pure-play quantum computing company, has a market cap in a strikingly similar ballpark. The valuation is similar, so the big question is, could the technological trajectory be similar too? Okay, so what is this new paradigm that has investors seeing parallels to the early days of AI? Let's take a minute and just break down the basics of quantum computing. So, it all starts with something called a qubit. In a normal computer, you have a bit. It's super simple. It's either a 0 or a 1. Think of a light switch. It's either on or off. That's it. A qubit, though, plays by the really weird rules of quantum mechanics. It can be a 0, it can be a 1, or, and this is the mind-bending part, it can be both at the exact same time. It's a property called superposition. The best analogy is a spinning coin. While it's in the air, it's not heads and it's not tails. It's kind of both possibilities at once. That's a qubit. Now, that fundamental difference leads to a wild performance advantage for certain kinds of problems. Okay, imagine you're trying to find the fastest route through a maze. A classical computer would try one path, hit a dead end, go back, try another path, and so on, one by one. A quantum computer, because its qubits can hold all these values at once, can explore every single possible path simultaneously. It's not just about being faster, it's a completely different, almost parallel way of solving really complex problems. And that ability to chew through immense complexity is why so many different industries are paying very close attention. We're talking about solving problems that are basically impossible for even the biggest supercomputers we have today. Think about designing brand new drugs by simulating molecules with perfect accuracy, or optimizing the entire global financial market in real time, or even creating revolutionary new materials. It could even break most modern encryption, which is exactly why it's also become a matter of national security. So is this all just theory? I mean, for years it was. Quantum computing was basically trapped in research labs. But recently, something has shifted. Real money, serious institutional interest, it's all starting to flow into the sector. And the market is definitely taking notice. Just take a look at this one recent trading day. This wasn't just one stock popping off because of some random news. This was a coordinated surge across the entire public quantum sector. When you see a whole niche group of companies move together like this, it's often a signal of strategic positioning by investors. They're not just betting on one horse, they're betting on the whole race. And these are the names that have really become the main focus for investors who want that pure play exposure to the tech. They're often called the Quantum Four. You've got IonQ, D-Wave, Rigetti, and Quantum Computing Inc. They're all tackling the same huge challenge of building these machines, but they're coming at it with different technologies and different approaches. And listen, it's not just these smaller, specialized firms anymore. The institutional credibility is growing, and it's growing fast. Tech giants like IBM, Google, and Microsoft are in a race to develop their own quantum systems. You have major banks like JP Morgan announcing multi-billion-dollar investment plans for these kinds of strategic sectors. And governments are even looking to take equity stakes to speed things up. The whole ecosystem is getting very serious very quickly. So if the tech is getting real and the big players are getting interested, what does this all look like from a numbers perspective? I mean, how do you even begin to value a technology that's still in its infancy, but promises to be completely revolutionary? Well, the current market caps of the leading quantum companies are still pretty small, especially when you compare them to the titans of AI. We're talking single-digit, maybe low double-digit billions. And again, this just reinforces that parallel to where a company like Nvidia was a decade ago, right before its industry hit that massive inflection point. And when you start looking at forecasts for how big this market could get, the picture gets even more interesting. You see this huge range of estimates. You've got Bank of America projecting a relatively modest $4 billion market, while consultants at McKinsey think it could be worth over $100 billion. This massive gap tells you everything you need to know. There's both enormous potential and profound uncertainty surrounding this thing. And that word, uncertainty, brings us to our final and maybe most important point, because it is absolutely crucial to understand that investing in any early-stage technology is a high-stakes gamble. It is full of risk, it's full of volatility, and there are zero guarantees of success. This quote from an analyst at Benchmark just perfectly captures where we are right now. When a company has barely any revenue but a story that could change the world, your traditional valuation models they fall apart. Investors are basically trying to put a price tag on a piece of the future, and that is an incredibly difficult, maybe even impossible thing to do. I mean, just look at this valuation snapshot. Even a high-flying stock like Nvidia trades at around 50 times its sales. Some of these quantum stocks have traded at multiples of over 1,000 times their sales. So what does that tell you? It shows you the extreme level of speculation and future growth that's being priced into these companies right now. It's pure forward-looking optimism on steroids. And we really have to remember the lessons of history. The dot-com boom, it produced thousands of companies, but only a handful, like Amazon, actually survived to become giants. The rest, they just disappeared. The same will almost certainly be true for quantum computing. Not every company in this race today is going to cross the finish line. In fact, most of them probably won't. So here's the bottom line. While everyone is focused on the mature, multi-trillion-dollar AI revolution, there's another sector quietly emerging from the labs. It's volatile, it's speculative, and its valuations are definitely more art than science. But the technology has the potential to redefine computing as we know it. The biggest opportunities in history often appear when a sector looks exactly like this. Too early for the mainstream, way too risky for the cautious, and too small to even seem significant. So the question really is, are we there now?